All right, buckle up, everybody, because today we are diving deep, and I mean deep, into the Aston Martin Vanquish.
Ooh, the Vanquish.
We're not just kicking the tires on this one, no way.
Yeah.
We are going under the hood, inside the design, really trying to figure out what makes this car,
Special.
Yeah, special.
Yeah.
Aston Martin is calling this their flagship, their masterpiece.
Yeah.
And to crack the code, we're going straight to the source. No middlemen, no interpretations, just Aston Martin's own words about the Vanquish.
I like it. Primary sources. It's interesting when you read what they're saying. It's almost like they're positioning this car as more than just a car. You know what I mean? It's like owning a Vanquish makes you part of something bigger, part of a legacy.
It's funny you should say that because they really emphasize this whole unparalleled sophistication and British mastery vibe. I mean, they even came out and said, all will be vanquished. Bold move, Aston Martin, bold move.
Yeah, and it definitely makes you wonder who they're picturing behind the wheel, right? Who is the Vanquish driver?
Someone with a healthy appreciation for extravagance, I'd say.
Definitely not your everyday commuter car.
Not at all. Speaking of which, let's talk about the heart of this beast, because under the hood, we've got ourselves a 5.2-liter twin-turbo V12 engine.
See, and that's interesting in and of itself. In today's world, everyone's going hybrid, electric, right? But Aston Martin, they're sticking with the V12.
It's a statement.
Absolutely. They're saying this is about the experience, the power, the raw sound of a roaring engine. It's almost like a throwback,
Yeah, it's unapologetically bold. They even quoted their chief technical officer, what was his name? Roberto Fedeli, right?
Roberto Fedeli. Yeah.
Saying this engine offers, quote, performance characteristics unmatched by any other car in its category. Okay, so maybe a little bit of a marketing spin there. But still, I can see where this car is more than just numbers on a spec sheet. It's about a certain, what did you call it? A feeling.
Absolutely. And that's where the engineering gets really fascinating. They've gone with a front mid-mounted engine placement for the Vanquish.
Hold on. Now you're getting too technical for me. What's that now? Front mid-mounted.
Right. So basically, instead of the engine being right up front, like in most cars, or in the very back, they've got it positioned further back in the chassis, but not all the way in the rear.
So it's like in the middle.
Kind of. Hence mid-mounted, right. But it's more towards the front. The key is weight distribution. They're trying to find that sweet spot for optimal balance and handling. And trust me, that makes a world of difference when you're pushing the car to its limits.
You know what? You've piqued my curiosity. So it's not just about brute force with this car. It's about precision engineering, about creating an experience.
Exactly.
Which makes me think about the other performance aspects, like what kind of transmission are we talking about? What about the suspension? I read somewhere that Aston Martin actually developed a completely new platform for this car. Is that right?
They did, which tells you just how serious they are about this car. This is not just a minor refresh. This is a complete ground-up redesign. They're aiming for that holistic driving experience where every element, from the engine to the interior, works together in perfect harmony.
Okay, so we are talking about the interior.
Oh yeah, we've got to talk about the interior.
Because that's a whole other world with a car like this, right?
Yeah.
It's an experience, isn't it? Like
Yeah.
you slide into this luxurious cockpit surrounded by the scent of leather and technology.
Yeah, and Aston Martin knows this, of course. They actually call the interior, let me see if I can get it right, the apex of luxury and innovation. Something like that.
Catchy. Though I have to say, it seems like every luxury car maker claims to have the most luxurious, innovative interior these days. So how does the Vanquish stand out?
It's all in the details. They're not just throwing a bunch of fancy features at you. They're carefully crafting the entire experience. For example, they talk a lot about two main things: the driver environment, like you mentioned, and the center console.
Okay, so walk me through this. What makes the Vanquish's driver environment and center console so special?
Well, it's hard to describe. It's like they want you to forget everything you thought you knew about car interiors. It's more like stepping into a bespoke suit than a car. Everything is tailored, driver-focused.
Interesting. And the center console, what's the deal there?
I think with the center console, they're aiming for this perfect blend of functionality and elegance. It has all the technology you could ever need, but it's integrated in a way that's still visually stunning.
So it's not just a screen slapped onto the dashboard.
Definitely not. Think like a minimalist sculpture that also happens to control your entire driving experience.
They keep mentioning this new dawn of driving thing. What do you think they're getting at with that?
Honestly, I think they're trying to redefine what luxury means in the age of technology. It's not just about having the fanciest materials or the most powerful engine anymore. It's about creating an experience that is both technologically advanced and emotionally engaging. It's about feeling connected to the car and to the road.
It's interesting how we keep coming back to this idea of experience. It's like Aston Martin wants you to feel something when you get behind the wheel of this car. Speaking of feeling something, let's talk about the exterior design, because the way a car looks, it evokes a certain feeling, wouldn't you say?
Absolutely. And the Vanquish's exterior design is where Aston Martin's artistry really shines through, in my opinion. The source material emphasizes, what was it, sophistication and power. Yeah, those are the two keywords.
Yeah. Sophistication and power. It's a classic combination, but it's all about the execution. How does Aston Martin pull it off? What makes the Vanquish's design stand out from the crowd of other supercars?
Well, they approach it almost like a sculptor would approach a block of marble, paying attention to every curve, every line, every detail. They talk about the way the lines flow from the front grille, over the hood, and into these sculpted side panels. They're obsessed with creating this sense of visual harmony.
So they're not just designing a car, they're crafting a masterpiece.
Precisely. And that's the genius of Aston Martin, you know. They understand that for their target market, it's not just about having the fastest car on the block, it's about owning something unique, something beautiful, something that makes a statement.
And they're not even giving us, like, horsepower figures 0 to 60 times any of that yet. They're hooking us with the story, the feeling.
Exactly. It's a smart strategy, and it's working. At least it's working on me.
Me too.
Okay.
Okay, so we've talked about the engine, the interior, the exterior. We've basically dissected this car. What does it all mean? What's the takeaway message Aston Martin wants us to have about the Vanquish?
In a nutshell, I think they're making a statement about who they are as a brand. They're saying, we are Aston Martin, and we build exceptional cars for exceptional people.
Yeah, and they're not shying away from strong language to get that message across. I mean, we've got conqueror, domination, unrivaled. It's bold.
They're going all in on this idea of the Vanquish being in a league of its own. It's not just a car, it's a statement piece. They're targeting a very specific customer, someone who appreciates the finer things in life, someone who demands the best and isn't afraid to show it.
You know, it's funny, the name itself, Vanquish, it's not your everyday car name. It's powerful, kind of mysterious, like, what are they trying to say with this name?
Right. It makes you think about what it means to vanquish something, you know, to overcome, to conquer. It's a very deliberate choice, I think.
Yeah, it makes you wonder. And it's not the first time they've used this name, is it? Didn't they have a Vanquish model back in the early 2000s?
They did, which makes it even more interesting. They're tapping into that history, that legacy of building these iconic, sought-after cars. It's like they're saying, we've done it before and we can do it again.
And if you're lucky enough to own one, you're part of that story, that lineage. I'm remembering those early 2000s Vanquish models. They were in movies, video games, all over the place.
Exactly. Aston Martin knows how to create a feeling, an association with their cars. It's aspirational, you know?
Totally. So we spent a good amount of time with the Aston Martin Vanquish today. We've gone pretty deep into the details, the engine, the design, the whole philosophy behind it.
It's been fun, and I think hopefully anyone listening now has a much better sense of what this car is all about.
It's more than just a car, right? It's an experience, a statement. And whether you love it or hate it, you can't deny that Aston Martin has done something interesting here. They've really gone their own way with this one.
Yeah, it's refreshing in a way. A lot of car makers are trying to be everything to everyone these days, but Aston Martin is staying true to their vision.
For better or worse, yeah.
Exactly. And it'll be interesting to see how it plays out for them. The Vanquish is a gamble, but it's a calculated one.
A gamble. I like that. It's high stakes, high reward, just like the car itself.
Exactly.
Well, there you have it, folks. The Aston Martin Vanquish. We've given you the information. Now go do your own research, form your own opinions. Who knows? Maybe one day you'll find yourself behind the wheel of one.
Maybe.
That's it for this deep dive. Thanks for joining us. As always, don't forget to like and subscribe for more discussions like this.